Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Zenon, Girl of the 21st Century. This is a 1999 Disney Channel movie, original movie. It's an hour and 37 minutes long, and of course, the 21st century seems so far away in 1999. Honestly, I can't even remember what year this supposedly takes place in, but yeah, it definitely is like mid 21st century, I guess. Yeah, it's at least it's in mid to late 21st century, and you get this does have a certain charm to it. As obnoxious as the dialogue tends to get, everything, everything. There's not a line that's spoken. I think it might have been a challenge that the writers or writer, the writers. There's a few. By the way, this is based on a book by Marilyn Sadler. Now, I don't know what the books are like, and by the way, I have seen the second and third films in this Zenon trilogy, and it seemed like from what I can remember, the later ones definitely, if you've seen this one, I think you'd be better informed on what's going on in the second and third one to a certain degree. Those seem to almost not poke fun, but especially when it came to the whole. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there's rock and roll in the future, technically, and there's still like boy band rock and roll, whatever. And the girls, especially Zenon, are big fans of a certain rock star played by what's his name? Philip Reese Chaudhry, right? Philip Reese, R-H-Y-S. I'm never sure how to, Rice or Reese, I'm never sure how to pronounce that word, that name. But anyway, he plays a very charismatic rock star. He leans into the charismatic, pretty boy, but you can't take him too seriously kind of guy where they know how famous they are, kind of thing. But he has a very small part in this, but still, I remember seeing him in the second one at least, and yeah, he became I think a more important ally character in the sequel or sequels. Gosh, I can't even remember. They all run together now. Anyway, he becomes he's just a plot point in this, and it's convenient, but anyway, it allows, as you would expect, most Disney Channel movies that pretty much focus on a young teen hero situation or heroine situation. There's got to be a big musical number at the end, song and dance kind of thing, and the fantasy of a teenage girl coming true, getting to hopefully dance with her rock star crush. From a band called Microbe. By the way, this does have all of the Disney Channel tropes of every Disney Channel movie ever. You've got the likable, troublemaking, fun, intelligent heroine in Zenon, and of course she gets thrown into a fish out of water situation where she's forced to go back to Earth at one point. She's lived on a spaceship her entire life. Yeah, by the way, in the 21st century, a big space station is where this girl, I guess she's like 13, she's grown up there her entire life, and all of her friends wonder what the Earth is like, and they have all these exaggerated stories of how dangerous and scary it is. And when we get to finally see what Earth is like, as punishment, she gets sent there to live with her aunt rather than mess up everything on the station, which she tends to do. I guess she's seen as a troublemaker. And I can't remember. I must have looked away for a half second, but I don't know why she suddenly became suspicious of the politician that came on board. Maybe it's just nature. I don't know, her natural instinct as children hate politicians. So he's either a politician or just a big corporate guy, or it's the same thing. He's possibly going to fund the space station for another couple of years or science experiments. Her parents are scientists, by the way. There's a lot going on here. Yes, there's a lot. In fact, this is the kind of thing where I'm like, why are they making movies? This feels like, okay, when they do this on Disney Channel, I think they make movies in the sense that it might be a pilot for a series, but eventually it became just a trilogy of movies, which is still fine. It's, hey, if you're a popular enough film on the Disney Channel that you get 2 more sequels, well, hey, good on you. Of course, soon after this point, they all pivoted to big song and dance, High School Musical type stuff. So, sci-fi adventures with lots of just cringeworthy dialogue. As I started saying way back at the beginning, yeah, that wasn't the thing anymore. Like I say, when I say cringeworthy, everything has to end with a future slang term. Man, that's stellar major. You know, like well, you know, that's actually a good thing. Sorry, I sound like I was disparaging somebody. You've been stellar major. Stellar means you've been a star. You've been a wonderful major, big, made. I don't know. Very. You've been very helpful. Very. I don't know. It's, you figure out. It's pretty easy. Macro, micro. There's just a lot. There's a lot of dialogue. It's painfully obvious as to what it means, but they overdo it. Cetus Lapidus, they use it a lot. And by the way, Cetus Lapidus is her catchphrase, much like Bart Simpson has "Eat my shorts." Hers is a term of exasperation, not insult. But yeah, like, what is going on here? Cetus Lapidus is what Zenon is known for. At one point, somebody else gets to say it, and it's not a minor. Well, it's not a minor character, but it's a pretty major supporting role. Had this movie been made 10 years later, this girl would have been the lead, and that's Raven-Symone. But she ended up being a cheetah girl eventually, and going on to much bigger things. The main star here is Kirsten Storms. Is Zenon Carr, K-A-R, and she, I don't know what else she's done, but Raven-Symone is pretty much the biggest star out of this. One of the most prolific actors, one of the actors who is in just everything over the 80s, 90s, thousands, whatever, is Stuart Pankin. Once you see, he's like the chief guy of the space station. He's the captain of the space station. When you see him, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen him in like 50 things. He's a iconic character actor who's been in mostly comedies. So yeah, you've seen a lot of him. In this, like I said, it's just her, our hero, and her friends just getting in wacky trouble, like doing a spacewalk without permission. And eventually we get to see her, like I said, in a fish out of water sequence where she is forced to go back to Earth, and there's so much weirdness. What are flowers for? And the weight, the gravity makes her walk weird, and then, you know, she has to acclimate herself to this world, and she meets her aunt for the first time since she was very, very little, and her aunt is afraid to go into space. She will not go into space at all. She likes being on the Earth, and she's very awkward, but she is genuinely kind and is excited to have Zenon there and very helpful. She never had kids. There's a big question. Zenon's like, why didn't you have any kids or a husband or anything? And she's like, well, I've always been afraid. Well, you know where that's leading, because by the end of this, while Zenon does get somewhat of a boyfriend, there's a kiss. And all he does, though, he has mastered the lurid stare. For a 13-year-old, he's got this smoky thing going. Like, even that kid, like. By the way, the other thing is the technology in this. I don't want to divert too far into this, but the technology in this, it's fun to watch them handle like video chat screens and stuff like that in an era that where social media was not even heard of. The idea of video conferencing was, as far-fetched as it was in Star Trek. But it wasn't impossible. But yeah, it's that kid staring out of a screen at Zenon while she's at a concert is it's unsettling. Also, when he first sees her and she's out getting lunch with her aunt and he's at the table like 6 feet away, you just see him. I'm like, dude, I would switch tables. I don't care how pretty he is. The kid looks at you like that, and you're just like, okay, back off. We're not having babies. Just hold off. Eventually, all of his lurid staring pays off, because when she's obviously gets kind of hot for him. When they're at an awkward moment, she's just like, Cetus Lapidus, just kiss me already. Like, Zenon's not shy. Zenon's pretty much, she's a leader, and she's pretty kick butt. But she's headstrong and everything else. She's a bit of a little feminist icon without using those terms. But yeah, it's still, it's a little strange. Also, when they're at like swimming class, like for gym, and she's used to swimming in space, but not in water. But they're all in these little skin-tight, one-piece swimsuits, and this kid is still, but not like lustily or anything. It's just smoky. It's still unsettling. Dude, stop being so obvious. At the same time, he has a girl that he technically is not boyfriend, girlfriend with, but she thinks they are, and she's the jealous friend, which is another trope for Disney Channel things. There's always another girl who will lay insults into the main girl and demean her and say things like girls have to fight for some reason when they don't know each other. I don't know. It's the kind of thing where you just have to have this rival where no matter how pretty and capable the main character is, she always has to be put down by this other cool girl who's part of the in-group. So, again, I'm going to go back to the technology. Yes, there's hacking involved. There is a virus. By the way, the term viral is an insult, where in today's world, I would love for this video to go viral at some point, and that would be a good thing, I guess. So, yeah, there's so much to be said about this. It is not going to be a movie you're going to go for astounding acting or great dialogue or anything else. But she's a likable girl, and I can understand the attraction. If you grew up with this, obviously, this is going to be something that you'll might want to look back on. I don't know how well it'll age, but kind of like we look at classic old pictures from the 1950s and how they looked at space travel. We all had rocket packs in the 1980s by then, and we'd have the Jetsons cars in our floating homes and all these other things, our views of the future. This is kind of I think they kind of knew at the time, in 1999, which is, yes, only 24 years ago. Oh, 24 years ago. They kind of knew that maybe this stuff, why is there a fuzzy? Okay. They kind of knew there wouldn't be this level of technology. We've advanced beyond the technology that's in this. Just like in the 50s, we have technically advanced beyond the technology that was presented in those old pictures and artist concepts and stuff like that. But we also have not reached those levels either. We do not live in a space station. We do not have complete colonies of people living on space stations around the Earth who've never been to Earth with children and stuff like that. Yeah, this is not Deep Space Nine. We do not have that. But at the same time, all of our smaller technology, our handheld, our communicative technology, that's all advanced well beyond what they show in this. And it's kind of neat to watch, to see the differences in that. So yeah, if you have an interest in seeing, watching a movie, again, no redeeming value when it comes to dialogue or acting or anything else. It's everybody is kind of exaggeratedly acting. I mean, the most capable people, of course, are the adults. Stuart Pankin, great, always. But the Zenon and Kirsten and Raven, they work as a good team. By the way, I think Raven did not come back for the sequel, but she did come back for the third one, I think. I can't remember. You'll have to look at my other ones because I have watched each of those. I've now completed the trilogy out of order, but yeah. Anyway, this is the kind of thing that could make for a fun viewing, and dear God, don't make it a drinking game kind of thing. Because if you made it every time took a drink every time they made a really weird future slang term, you would be dead within 10 minutes, easily. If you did it every time she said Zetus Lapidus, you'd probably be pretty drunk, I think. Adults only watching this, by the way, if you're going to try the drinking game. Seriously, just drink responsibly. But beyond this, yeah, it tries to give you a somewhat of a complex storyline, but not really. So it's still there's, I think for kids this could be a bit of a fun adventure, but it would also look fairly awkward to today's kids. But if you're now, in your 30s and you want to look back on this, or 40s, 30s or 40s, you might get a kick out of it. But otherwise, I mean, you don't need to see this movie. It's not a great movie, but it could be fun. That's the rule. You want to watch things. When you watch things, you want it to be fun. And this can be fun if you have a sense of humor about it. If you try to take it too seriously, like, this is not good film. If you try to treat it like it's supposed to be great film, well, you're going to be disappointed because it's not supposed to be. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
190.
190. All right. All the way down. 190. Oh my gosh. We've been doing this for almost a week now. Or technically 2 weeks. Every other episode, I was going to make a mention of this, every other episode is a short. We'll do a documentary or a series or a movie, and then the next episode will be a short. And once again, we've gotten a short. It is 190, right? Let me make absolute... Yes. 190 is a short. I can't believe this. We're going to be celebrating Happy Birthday, Mickey. Happy Birthday, Mickey is the short. And I don't know if that's new or if it's meant to say, like, it's something new, because, this is the 100th year of Disney. The 100th, at the parks, their 100-year anniversary. It's not the 100th anniversary of the parks, obviously, but, yeah. I don't know. Happy Birthday, Mickey is what we're watching tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.